then let me give you my top 10 regression manhwa list. Do note that these recommendations are not ranked, and you can check video chapters in the description to skip the recommendations you've already read. Our first recommendation is Martial God Regressed to Level 2. The BattleNet game, which was seen as just another game, turned into humanity's nightmare. After the release of the Space League, the game turned into a survival game for all organisms in the universe, and mankind represented by Earth kept failing until it was deemed worthless. Upon this decision, humanity was deleted from existence, but our MC, the Martial Saint, was the only one not deleted. This was because his skill nameless divine art resisted deletion. The gods then saw potential in him and sent him back into the past with his memories intact. Now he is determined not to let Korea be wiped out and his niece not to die miserably, because the days after the deletion of Korea were like hell. Though he was ranked 7th in the world, he was mistreated by the country he moved in. This manhwa is incredible, with a fast-paced story without leaving out any important information. The artwork is also incredible, so do check it out as it already has 20+ chapters. Next recommendation is My Daughter is the Final Boss. In this manhwa, our main character was a human trash father. He was selfish, prideful, and irresponsible, unbefitting the status of a father. When he came to a realization and regretted his actions, it was already too late and he ended up dying at the hands of his daughter, who has now become a wicked witch who wants to destroy the world. Honestly, I don't know why young people nowadays are such human trashes. Why wait until you see tears before learning to be a proper human? Anyways, our main character was lucky and got a second chance to change everything. When he opened his eyes, he was amazed to see his 5-year-old daughter standing before his door again, along with the quest to prevent the destruction of the world. This is an incredible manhwa, where the author knows when to be moody and when not. The storyline and the artwork perfectly complement each other. This is a gem not to miss out. The next recommendation is The Swordmaster's Youngest Son. In this manhwa, our main character Jin Rukendall despaired as he lived under the shadow of his siblings. And soon enough, he was exiled from his family because of his trashy talent. His family is known as a swordsman family. However, even though he worked more than anybody in his family, he couldn't be half as good as the gateman. Wishing to prove himself, he practices the art of magic under contract with the god of his ancestors. Sadly, it was still too late to prevent his death and that of his family. Fortunately for him, when he opens his eyes, he realizes he has returned to the past when he was still a 1-year-old child. Now, with the knowledge of his past life, he vowed to preserve his talent in swordsmanship and become the greatest sword master in history. This manhwa is a masterpiece that will keep you glued from panel to panel and chapter to chapter. The MC is quite a likable fellow and the fight scenes are incredible. Next, we have Kill the Hero. In this manhwa, our main character was abandoned as a baby and was treated like an animal his whole life. He hated the world and didn't trust anyone, but he made the mistake of trusting the first player and also the strongest player in the world. He later joined him in his guild to protect the world from monsters in the tower, but just as they were about to end it all, he was betrayed by this player, who wanted to prevent the world from returning to normal. Fortunately, he gets sent back in time to before he met the player, and this time instead of saving the world, his goal is to kill the strongest player in the world. This manhwa is quite awesome and has good artwork. It is definitely worth the time. Next, we have Superstar from Age 0. This is a new manhwa dropped this July 2023. In this manhwa, our MC died while on set as a supporting cast member, even though he tried his best to be an actor. While dying, he hoped to become an actor in his next life. Miraculously, he got a second chance and was reborn as a baby. When he was 7 months old, he remembered the memories of his past 100 life, from when he was a slime, to being a fairy and many other life forms. And the skills he got in these life forms had been stored in his consciousness. Now, with the knowledge of his past 100 life and skills, he is determined to be the protagonist and a mega superstar and actor. I strongly recommend reading this manhwa when you're having a bad or stressful day. It will melt your heart with its comedy and how the MC's cuteness slays people. Our next recommendation is The Keyball's Youngest Son. In this manhwa, our main character was born into an average family, but he worked hard till he managed to get into a top company. And with time, he climbed to the top of the company. He worked really hard for the company, and soon, he knew every secret of the company's top management, as he was the only person who was trusted enough to do the dirty jobs. However, he gets betrayed by the company owners who framed him and was later killed. Luckily, he got a second chance as he finds himself in the body of the youngest son of the Keyball family. This was the same family that built the company he had previously worked for. Still angry that he was betrayed, he decides this time he will do everything to become the owner of the company. This is an awesome regression manhwa with a lot of drama and an incredible artwork that complements the story. If you are an aspiring businessman or want to leave your trail in any industry as an otaku, then this is definitely the manhwa you need to motivate yourself. Next we have Return of the Unrivaled Spear Knight. This is a regression manhwa that will keep you glued to the panels like the Sword Master's youngest son. In this manhwa, our main character was the only person to use a spear in the history of knighthood. He fought and massacred people mercilessly as the spear god, just to make his friend Prince Ragnar king of the empire. Once they successfully won the war and his friend became king, he betrayed him and killed anyone related to him. While dying, he only wished to get a chance for revenge. Fortunately for him, his prayers were answered and he regressed to the past. With his knowledge of the future and understanding of people, he starts changing his mountains of mistakes one by one. This is an incredible manhwa with good character development and awesome artwork. Next we have My Little Brother is the Academy's Hotshot. In this manhwa, during the last battle with the king of the dragon race that killed countless humans, the MC lost his comrades and biological brother. However, the moment he slays an unidentified dragon that appears before him, he was sent back in time to his days as an academy student. This time, he vowed to kill all dragons so the past doesn't repeat itself. But in the past he has regressed into his older brother who is a genius warrior doesn't exist. His older brother was a major player in the final battle, so he has to fill in the empty spot of his brother. Now, our MC tries to prepare as much as possible before the strongest dragon king, the 7th dragon, appears. This manhwa has good artwork and storyline. I especially love how detailed the artist was in depicting the European styles of building. Our next recommendation is, it all starts with playing the game seriously. In this manhwa, our MC watched his little sister be killed helplessly. As a siskin, his dream was to watch his sister grow up and become an accomplished woman. This was all because he did not play a game seriously. He thought of games as not important enough to play seriously, so he was another casual player. Now the game has assimilated with reality. He and his sister were killed by pro players as the world fell into chaos. Fortunately, he got a second chance as he regressed 8 hours before the launching of the game. Now all he wants to do is monopolize as many benefits from the game as possible to protect his sister, and if possible, stop the hell that the assimilation of the game with reality would bring. This manhwa is one of the few apocalyptic manhwas I recommend if you are looking for a good read while drinking a glass of wine. The artwork is amazing, as it strayed from the usual artworks that are full in the industry, making it quite special in some ways. Coming next, we have the Frenzy Evolution. Have you thought of what happens to cowardly characters in comics before? Well, our MC was among these cowards, as he was fear-stroked when the apocalypse broke out, leaving his disabled little sister to be munched by zombies. This became his biggest regret later on, even though he became strong enough to protect himself. As a result of this, he closed his heart in regret, and when he was cornered in a fight, he decided to not run anymore. He was thinking that if he dies, then he can peacefully go down to atone for his sins. And he ended up dying in this battle but unexpectedly gets a second chance. Now, with his knowledge of the apocalypse, he is determined to protect his little sister and become the strongest in these last days. This manhwa has incredible artwork with fair fight scenes. And it also has incredible skills, but unfortunately, the author just showcased most of them without developing them further. That's it for our video today, so leave your recommendations in the comments section, in case I left out an incredible manhwa. Do not also forget to subscribe to my channel, and share this video with your friends. May peace be unto you. I'm out of here and see you on the next video.